Today I'm going to set up and configure the Bulldog Smart Life Starter Kit. Hello, I'm Blake, a professional innovator and designer in pursuit of the invisible smart home.
Water leak alert.
Quick start guide. Smart Life setup instructions. How to mechanically mount it on a valve. I'm going to go through that as well as part of this. The control module. 3 leak sensors. The motor assembly. AC adapter. The pin kit. This is what goes over the valve handle. 2 mounting brackets, an extra large and a large, covering valves from 1/2 inch to 1.5 inch. Let's just plug it in and make sure the leak sensors have been factory paired. So plug in the power. You should hear it click a couple times and then buzz, kind of going through a test procedure. And that seemed to do its thing. Okay. Alright, so you have to carefully plug in this, making sure that you line it up to the key so that it basically goes on top. There's an arrow on top. Alright, before we get to the Smart Life app, let's just test to make sure the leak sensors have been paired at the factory. And I'm going to use a wet paper towel. Once you've installed this, you should do the same thing for the test, but in position, wherever the leak sensors are in position by the laundry or the bathroom or the hot water tank or whatever. So let's just see if these have been paired. And the second beep. Alright, so it shut off the water, put it in alarm mode, and it's clicked a few times there. Alright, let's reset the alarm. Open the valve back up. And I'll test the other 2 leak sensors, but I won't. I'll put this in fast forward to not bore you. All the leak sensors have been factory paired, and it will shut off the water in case of a leak, even without an internet connection. You just have to plug in the power, position the leak sensors, and of course you have to mount this on the valve. And I'm going to cover this near the end of the video. All right, let's get to the Smart Life setup. Alright, so I've already installed the Smart Life app on my phone. You'll have to do the same thing. So I tested it earlier with the 2U app. It also worked with 2U. Basically 2U or 2Ya and Smart Life are the same. And I paired it with that, and that's why this blue light here is solid. It means it's been Wi-Fi paired. But I'm going to disconnect it from the 2U app, and that should start blinking, which puts it in pairing mode. Then I'll go back to the Smart Life app and pair it to that, but that'll just show you here it's in 2U, and let's just see if it works. Yeah, so you can see it works. But let's go ahead and edit this device, and I think you can remove at the bottom here. Here we go. Disconnect or disconnect and wipe data. So let's wipe the data and disconnect. Alright, so it's done, and this is not solid anymore, it's blinking. So let's go to the Smart Life app. Alright, I have a few other things on there now, but let's so it sees it already because it was in pairing mode. But if it wasn't in pairing mode, because it's blinking, that means it's in pairing mode, you would hold down this button until it started blinking. So we don't have to do that. It's looking for it now. So it's found it as a plug, and it's taken a few seconds here. You can see this circle is going around here clockwise. It's going to take a few seconds, I guess, to connect. Alright, so it's found it. Let's edit it and rename it. Alright, so let's edit this. Well, let's just see if it works first. Alright, seems to work. Alright, now it's connected to our system, and we can turn it off and on, set schedules, timers, and other automation. with the valve. Alright, now let's pretend the leak sensors were not paired, so I'm going to reset it and then go through the pairing process for the leak sensors. It's very simple. Alright, so leak sensors are paired. I'll just check it again. Second beep, cycle. Goes into alarm mode, that's fine. We reset by pushing the red button. But if we hold down this pairing button, it's going to reset all these leak sensors and they won't work. So let's try that. Well, first let's open the valve back up. Alright, I'm going to hold down the green button. It's going to reset, delete these leak sensors from inside here. So you get a double blink here. Alright, it double blinked here. So let's try this now. So this shouldn't turn off the valve now. Nope, nothing happens. Alright, so let's pair each leak sensor. So the way to pair the sensors is you just put it in pairing mode by, I believe, clicking this once. Let's give that a try, and then getting them, activating them. So let's click that once. Alright, so that's one's paired. Let's pair the next one. Alright, so all three leak sensors are now paired again. Let's reset the alarm. And open the valve back up. Alright, so if you bought the initial system, the leak sensors are pre-paired, you don't have to do anything, but you should test them. And then if you want to add more leak sensors, you just go through that pairing process I just showed you. So right now, if there's a leak, the system beeps and shuts off the water automatically. You don't need an internet connection. But let's set up an alert so we get an alert on our phone when there's a leak with Smart Life. Let's go to Scenes, create a scene. We want to, when device status changes, the Bulldog, switch 1 when it goes to off. Then we want it to send a notification, and there's a couple of different options for notifications. I'm going to pick Message Center, which means it's just going to send a message through the app to my phone. Save, it wants me to name it. I'm going to call it Leak Alert. And now when I get a leak, and I'll show that in a minute, what happens, you get a notification. When we get a leak, we should get a notification on the phone, so let's just test it out. Alright, there's our leak alert. So you're going to get 3 leak alerts. And now the system is in alarm mode, so you could reset it and by pushing this button, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to reset it with the phone. So you can reset it remotely. We don't recommend that because you should be local, and this beep being on here may sound a bit annoying, but that stops after about 90 seconds. So anybody local, they'll hear the beep initially, then when, there you go, then it stops, and I think it chirps a little bit after that, and then that stops as well. But anybody locally will hear that, hopefully. But of course the water will be shut off and they can go down and check the valve and check where there might be a leak before they turn the water back on. But you can also do it with your phone if you want to. If you want to do it remotely, and this is how it works. We don't recommend this, but this is what you can do. You hit it 3 times, or 3 times you click it off and on. And that resets the alarm and opens the valve. Alright, so I'm going to mount this on this 1-inch valve. It comes with 2 mounting kits. This is the extra large and this is the large. In this case, this is a 1-inch threaded valve. It actually works with the smaller kit, but I'm going to use the larger one to do the mounting. Alright, so let's position this over the valve and get it started. A good idea is to just get it on there snug, but not so tight that you can't like move it around a little bit. So I'm just going to tighten it a little bit. And it's good to get the gap even on both sides. So I can see this line here is in parallel. That looks pretty good. All right, and I like to put the pins on the arm first and then slide it over. That makes the installation a little easier, so let's do that. And so let's slide this onto here and center the pivot points. It's very important. That's the most important part of this mechanical installation, is that this pivot point and that pivot point are right over top of each other. All right, now let's tighten up the pins. So we'll push the pins against the valve handle. They don't have to be too snug, but just kind of against it. And you might have to adjust this after if it's closing too much or too little. All right, and let's do a little test stroke. Closed, open.